And welcome to the News Podcast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy, we're doing episode blah, 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 blah. I forgot to look before we even recorded.
I'll tell you. Give me 1 second.
Not a problem, but it is the October month, and so that means we are doing horror movies. Previously, we've done, like vampires?
We did...
Werewolves or something? Witches.
We did werewolves, we did witches, we did ghosts.
We did ghosts. This year, we're just doing popular villains from horror movies.
Yeah.
For instance, like, we've already done Jason.
Yes, we have.
But we might replay that one, that episode. But we are going to start things off with
episode 159.
159. I knew that. Episode 159. Sorry, it's been a while. We took a month off, and that's fine.
Yeah, we did.
And we decided to go out with a bang here in October with our horror movies. So we're going to do Child's Play 2. So we're going to do the great icon villain of Chucky the doll.
Yep.
And we're going to do that. It is a movie from 1990, about 2 years, exactly 2 years after the first movie, 1988. This movie was released. Not a good fanfare from a lot of reviewers. I think time and perspective in horror movies has shown to prove that this is a fun movie.
Yeah.
That kind of surpasses the original, in my opinion. But that's just me. And I love the original Child's Play. I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I went, whoa.
Yeah.
This is better than I remember. Because you think of like Chucky as like this really weird doll that just kind of says, quirky, sarcastic things and then kills people.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just like puns and murder.
Right. Like just puns and murder. Which we should make a horror movie called Puns and Murder.
There you go.
I don't know why. Just, some, guy doing dad jokes. That could be the step. Like, if we remade The Stepfather, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I digress. Anyway, Child's Play 2 is what we're doing. What do you have to say about this movie, Jeremy? What to start with?
I can always start with a synopsis here.
Yes, why don't we do that?
Let's do that, and then...
it's been a while.
You told me something interesting, and I kind of want to like circle back to it here.
What did I tell you?
I'll tell you in a second here.
Mm-hmm.
So, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Chucky's back. The notorious killer doll with the satanic smile comes back to life in this new chapter, depicting the terrifying struggle between young Andy Barclay and the demonic doll attempting to possess his soul. Despite being roasted to a crisp in his last escapade, Chucky rises from the ashes after being reconstructed by a toy factory to dispel the negative publicity surrounding the doll.
Okay.
Back in one piece, Chucky tracks his prey to a foster home where the chase begins anew in this sequel to the enormously popular original.
Okay, so what did I say? That was... Oh, that there's...
Yeah.
Normally... Yeah.
What?
What did I say?
So, the
enormously. I can't say enormously.
Enormously?
Yes.
Enormous.
Certain words I can't say.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Being in the hospital. Some taglines include, "It's playtime again. This fall, Chucky rules." In 1988, he startled us with a frightening vision. Then he was destroyed and left for dead. Now he's about to be reborn. Keep an eye out for it. Well, that's one of the taglines.
Yeah,
Another tagline is, "Look out, Jack. Chucky's back."
Okay.
And one of the most famous ones I know is, "Sorry, Jack. Chucky's back." See, about, I want to say 11 years ago, about a year before I met you, I found a Child's Play 2 t-shirt at Walmart.
Weird.
In Fremont, which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
And I bought that thing.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Because it's like, what the hell is this? And it did not fit me then. And I didn't care because I was like...
Was it like a midriff?
Something. It just was like one, like less than what I normally wear. But I wore it anyway, and I was like, boom, this is amazing. And it had where it was Chucky with like scissors
with the
cutting the Jack
in the box. Yeah,
iconic. And it said, "Sorry, Jack, Chucky's back." I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. So, like, to me, this is where, and this is something you had mentioned too, and I think you're 100% correct. Like, to me, this is where...
Mark it on the calendar.
To me, this is where the horror aspect of this movie comes.
Oh, what
this
is
franchise comes in.
Yeah.
And to me, this is the movie that sets the tone.
Right. This is the Friday the 13th 2.
Yes.
This is the second one.
Yes.
Where you get more iconicness.
Correct.
In this movie than you did the first movie.
Yeah. And the first movie is almost more suspenseful.
Thriller.
Yeah, than this, because they purposely...
It's a great movie.
Oh, yeah, very much so. But what they did was they purposely dragged out the whole, is it actually the kid who's crazy? Is Andy crazy and actually a murderer? Or is it the doll?
Yeah.
And they, like, originally, I think what I had read was, like, originally in the script, you weren't going to 100% say.
In the first movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they were like, as they rewrote it, they were like, no, we should say. But they wanted to leave it until, like, one of the very last scenes. And then they were like, no. And just so then they opened it back up. But it's more of a thriller to me than
it's hard
suspenseful.
Not to love that, because you got Dinah Manoff in that movie.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
She falls out the window in the first movie. Love that. And then Chris Sarandon.
Yep.
Susan Sarandon's brother, which it's
true.
true.
Jack Skellington.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And he's in that, and he's great in that. And it becomes more of like the story between him and kind of the mom and Andy.
Yes.
And not necessarily Chucky.
Right.
This movie, full out, takes everything that worked in the first movie and ups it like by 100.
Yeah.
And normally that might not work, right? Like you just go, oh wait, everything that worked, you're just going to do more of it, and it's going to get annoying. But this works because it's so campy, and it's not campy to where it's like later on in the series where it just gets so out of hand. But this is the first kind of notions that you get sort of campness from Chucky. And you get that snark and you get that bite from him.
Yes.
That you didn't in the original movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like we're seeing Jason for the first time.
Yeah.
In a way. And it's so great. It's like, it's almost like this is Aliens to Alien, right? This is the second Aliens movie. There's just so, it's like they learned from what the first movie kind of lacked.
Yeah.
And they made it better.
Yes,
I think.
Agreed.
And it gets right to it.
Yeah.
Like this movie just starts.
Oh yeah.
And it's not that long of a movie, by the way.
No, it's not.
It's like the shortest movie of the franchise.
Yeah, it's
and it
what, like
works.
an hour. It's like 84
it's 90 minutes.
minutes.
It's on. You can watch it on Peacock if you want with ads, or if you're a Peacock subscriber. Congratulations, you're the one person. And but we rented it. You can rent it. But it's just so fascinating kind of watching the evolution of this, because I didn't take these movies as serious as I should have.
Yeah.
And I'm kicking myself in the foot. I don't know how someone does that, but whatever. But that's how I'm taking it. What about you, Jeremy?
So I think, like, to me, this is this is not a new trope.
No, this is nothing new, right?
Right. Like the doll come to life is not a new thing.
Right. Slasher. That's not new.
This
has been done. And by the time 1990 happened, this sort of genre had become waned, become outdone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We've seen it all. And this isn't necessarily like anything new as a horror movie is concerned. But for some reason, it's fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what happens, like, and the first one was suspenseful, but it was like, they did it in a way that it didn't feel, to me, it never felt like, oh God, here we go again with this crap. You know, like, sometimes when you get stuff about, like, dolls come to life or whatever it is, it's pretty, like, you know what the cheap jokes are going to be. And they do incorporate those. But I think the thing that's funny about them is, or what makes it work is that they are very, like, almost tongue-in-cheek about their own, like, what they're doing. So it's like, you have your suspensefulness, you have your, like, gruesomeness, you have whatever, your creep factor. But then when a tired trope comes up, they're just like, hey, guess what? We're gonna do it, but we're gonna, like, really roll into it.
Yes, but we're gonna take it and we're gonna, like, own it.
Yes.
And
so
it's almost refreshing in a weird way.
Yeah, it's because I think it's because they own it, because they're not trying to be dead serious about it. They're saying, yeah, we realize this is a trope, but we're gonna, like, play off of this. You know, I think that's what makes the series work a lot. And I didn't appreciate it as much when I was younger. I remember I was at a friend's house, and we watched when we were getting ready to go to, I think it was it after prom or getting ready to go to prom. A bunch of us watched The Bride of Chucky.
Okay.
And so I was just like, what the hell? Like, at the time. But now I think back on it too, and I'm just like, yeah, man, that was like the way they approached it, what they did with the characters. And I mean, hell, later on in the series, like, Jennifer Tilly as the actress is in it too, and she voices the bride. And I think the bride takes her over, and so Jason, Jennifer Tilly's being herself, just acting as the doll. Like, the way they don't take themselves too seriously, but not, like, in a cheesy, awful way, but, like, in a very, like, smart way. And it makes this series work.
It makes these couple movies work. And later on, I think it just becomes, it eats its own tail a little bit, where it's like, we get it joke after joke after joke, where it just seems like it's, because I've seen other ones, obviously, Chucky movies, and I'm like, I get it. For some reason, Chucky in this movie hits all the right notes at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
They don't overuse them, but they use them correctly. This is he's flipping people off. He's just saying the right thing at the right time, as far as a villain is concerned. And at the end, when he truly goes crazy and mad, when he realizes he can't escape it, I'm, like, really generally frightened. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, whoa. But when we originally were watching this movie at the start, I was like, this cast is like nobody's, right? But then I started reading into it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is actually a decent cast, including Alex Vincent, who reprises his role as Andy, not to mention him, and Brad Dourif, who does Chucky's voice, which we all know. But you got Jennifer Agutter, is that how you pronounce her name, as Joanne, and Phil as Garrett Graham as Phil, right?
Yeah.
As the couple that kind of takes in Andy.
Yeah.
She's the girl from Logan's Run.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, that's the girl from Logan's Run. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I was like, because I probably never, like, I'm sure I've seen stuff with her, but I never really, like, put two and two together. But these are very, like, character actors that you've seen over and over again.
Yep.
And things, including Garrett Graham, who was in everything, like, in the 80s, it seemed like. He probably was in 12 episodes of Murder, She Wrote. He just seems like a Murder, She Wrote kind of guy.
Oh, he was.
Like a repeat offender.
I'm pretty sure he was in the episode where the dog kills...
I swear he was. He was like an aristocrat or something like that.
He was like he was the brother who made the bad investment or choices.
Mm-hmm. Beth Grant is the really shitty teacher. Who,
right. So who people may know as, like, Donnie Darko's mother.
Yes.
Or not mother.
No.
Donnie Darko's the lady who ran Sparkle Motion.
This is Sparkle Motion, yes.
Frankly, I'm starting to doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion.
We know her as the Wonderfuls Muffin Buffalo lady.
Yes, she's another
character
what's his
actor.
name?
Brian Fuller.
Yes,
regular.
he's like a Fuller-verse stable player.
Wait, is that the same character? Did she play the same character in Pushing Daisies? I swear she plays the same character in Pushing Daisies as she does in Well, that's whatever.
Wonder
I looked it
Falls.
up, lady. Yeah,
Yeah,
in
she's
Wonder
the same
Falls.
character in both
Okay,
of those.
good. But what I think someone who actually is a great addition to the movie is the girl that plays Kyle.
Yes.
Because we need, it's like we
Christine
don't
Elise.
have, because it cements a final girl.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? It puts that trope in there, but it's also like as much as we don't need it, but we do need it in a way. We don't think that we also, like, we always need a final girl.
Yeah.
But it's just so cemented in horror movies now.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, we actually needed that for Child's Play.
Yes.
Because Andy is just Andy. Like, Andy's always going to be the counterpart to Chucky.
Yes.
To have her as a final girl helping him in a way is just, in her being no questions asked, badass, but like not, like we don't really, I needed to know a little bit more about her though.
Yeah.
Because I was really intrigued by her character. I think it was just probably the actress and the way that she was. But I don't know. How do you feel about the cast in this movie?
I actually enjoy the cast. I think they do a pretty good job. I will say, like, it's standard for horror movies. You can't get people back. You know, sometimes you have to explain why they're gone or whatever. Especially when here's Andy. It's obviously not like a different, kid who got it or whatever it is. So here's Andy, and they explain that his mother, that he got put in a foster care because he was claiming the doll did these murders. His mother backed him up on it, and because of that, they put her in a mental institution. So she lost custody of him, which I was kind of like, oh, that's awkward. Like, it just, that seems very, I guess, oddly positioned to me, but they, I guess I read too that originally they were going to have exposition or like show a scene in the beginning where she's on trial and they would sentence her to, whatever mental facilities. But they would explain it like that. So instead we got exposition through Greg German talking to his boss about that they cleaned up the doll. They took the doll out of the wreckage. They managed to find it. They cleaned it up, put all new skin and stuff on it, and then ran diagnostics to see if there was something that malfunctioned with it because they wanted to make sure that they alleviated themselves of any wrongdoing. They found nothing forensically, and it wasn't until they put the eyes in it that it can look.
No. Why? I mean, why the eyes? Because the eyes are the
gateway to the soul. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my assumption with it, but I like that they put the eyes in it and then it like comes back. Like,
right,
so
and right away we're like, boom, we're in it, and I mean, this is 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
Which I like that. It's almost like in that vein of like, these are kind of remind me of the Friday the 13th. Yeah. In a way where it's like, how do we bring Chucky back? We've killed him off. Here's kind of like this weird way of bringing him back.
Yeah.
And the way he looks, that might be different, but they have some similarities. It has those aspects to it that I kind of like. But we've talked about that before too.
I think one thing I like about this too is that it doesn't screw with like the mythos part of the way through.
No. Like, it's right after. Like, it's you can watch the movies back to back.
Yes.
And be like, okay, this is a continuous story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to like Jason in the Friday the 13th series, right? Like, in the first movie, he was a dead little boy, and you don't even see him, until the very end. Second movie, he's got the potato sack head, and you get the sense that he wasn't dead at all. And then it's like, oh wait, no, it's this. Oh no, it's this. And like,
he's unstoppable.
Well, they keep changing it. It's magic, and then it's psychic, whatever, and then it's this and this, and then he's brought back by nanites in space, and like they keep changing what it is. And the same almost in like Michael Myers too. You don't know what like is driving it, and it's kind of like they don't talk about it, or if they do, it's inconsistent, and it's like, well, what is it?
Right. Is that though through like studio wanting to go? We can't end this yet. We have to milk this, and we got to bring it back to.
I would say like, I think the most egregious one is Friday the 13th for doing that.
Well, very much so.
But like the other ones do it too, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Those they do it as well. Nothing as bad as Friday the 13th, I don't think. But I think that like this is at least consistent with it being like voodoo,
right? But
Yeah.
I also get like the fact. I feel like these movies kind of get like, oh, these are Friday the 13th's like younger brother or like younger kid kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not necessarily the truth. These are up there with them.
Yeah.
This franchise is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for a while. There's a reason why, people keep coming back to this.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, it's as iconic as Jason, if not. Everyone knows Chucky the doll as much as they know a hockey mask in Jason. So I don't think there's any reason to downgrade this from being an iconic villain.
Right. Well, I almost think it's scarier.
I think it
'cause,
is too,
you
'cause
everybody's
freaky.
had a toy or something as a child that
That were
I
like,
I remember when I was a kid, and I was obviously probably dreaming. God, I hope I was dreaming. Like I used to swear I had this Kermit the Frog like stuffed animal on my bed, and I used to swear at night its mouth would open and close. And so, like, I would boot it off my bed. And, like,
what do we do? What do we like? Tonight's special guest is Lily Tomlin. Yay!
Yeah, just very slow.
Just
Tonight's special guest is Lily Tomlin.
So, but like,
is it like the movie The Cat's Eye with like that creepy?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that thing's creepy.
No, so it used to freak me out, and so I think everybody who's ever had like, who's been afraid of the stuff that they have in their room at night or whatever when they were little kids, like. This movie, I think, speaks to you with that. Like, some of these other movies, I don't think from the supernatural killer standpoint that, like, we have as many real-life parallels. Like, you think about, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, everybody had nightmares, right? So I think that one is, like, that one freaks me out because it's like, oh, my God, like, I've had freaky dreams. And some of the other ones... you don't run into those same experiences, whatever. But I think it almost taps into this, like, primal, like, you being scared as a kid, and it just validates the things that creeped you out. So I think that's why these movies work a lot.
Now, do you feel like this movie was too short or just the right length? I almost wanted a little bit more. But for the most part, it's a fun ride that goes pretty quick.
Yeah, if we had more... like, it couldn't have just been, like, going between places. It almost needed to either be another kill somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I thought that the stuff with the family, so he's adopted by this family, or not adopted, but, like, fostered by this family.
Yeah.
And they think that he's breaking stuff or doing these bad things. Like, I almost would rather have seen, like, maybe incorporate, like, a neighbor.
Yeah.
Who got, like, a cranky neighbor who got pissed about something that they were like, well, that's suspicious. Before they just, started killing the foster family. But
that house, that was creepy itself.
Oh my God.
It's like blue. It's like blue and mauve.
Yeah,
it's full of
like
old
blue,
shit.
pink, and white, full of old crap.
It smells like smoke. It just looks like it smells like smoke to me.
Oh God.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like
it probably smells like musty, like old
mothballs
newspaper.
and like menthol cigarettes. That's what it looks like. Do you know?
Oh, I doubt those people smoke.
I doubt they did, but I'm just saying.
mothballs,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know how like old furniture looks like. It just smells.
Well, it reminded me of, for those of you who remember our earlier episode of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey
from forever ago, 3 years
like
ago.
Episode 1, 2, or 3.
I'll look while you do that.
I think it's 2.
It's probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
No, did we do that for Easter? No, we were going to. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, But they have nightmares. Bill and Ted have nightmares where they're in hell, or not nightmares. They're in hell, and it's their personal hells where it's like one of them's with the Easter Bunny, the other one's got to kiss his grandma. That's what this reminds me of, where it's got the harsh blues and pinks.
Oh, it's gross.
It's a gross house. Like,
it's gross.
and I almost, part of me was almost like, I wanted a little bit more, almost with like Chucky being like, "What the fuck is this place?"
Right?
Like him being like even weirded out by it.
If that's Sanctuary, she should have just not ran with Logan. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Just stay there.
yeah. The
Cats have 3 names.
Daddy Peter used to know. But no, so yeah, I think this movie, like,
But there's like what, 7 kills in this or something?
yeah, there's
like
only
that?
7 kills.
Yeah.
Although, the one that stuck with me from when I was a kid was when the guy had
The eyeballs.
The guy is on the conveyor belt. He fixes it. Chucky knocks him into the way of whatever, and like the plastic eyeballs get driven in through his eyes. I thought was so freaky when I was a kid. I have always remembered that one.
It's probably the best kill in the movie. You would say it, right?
Yeah.
And next to the teacher. The teacher's pretty fun too. I like the teacher's kill.
But most of them honestly are pretty benign.
And pretty quick.
Yeah, like
Right.
the one guy gets suffocated, so it's not particularly gruesome.
Right.
The teacher, she gets stabbed a little bit, but then she gets beaten with a ruler, so you don't really see much of it. And it's not even that bloody.
But I love that though. That
Yes.
seems great.
Yeah. Both of the foster parents, their deaths are pretty quick.
Yes.
They're
He trips down the steps though, too.
There's a little brutality, but they're they're also tame.
You're right.
They're not
This movie isn't as gory until probably the end.
Yes. Till the
And
eye.
even that's not bad. Yeah. But even that, like, I'm going to tell you, the last 20 minutes of this movie are fucking wonderful.
Yes, they are.
They are just absolutely some of the best. Like, first of all, it's like a maze with Chucky dolls.
Yeah,
right?
they go into
With
the toy factory where they're manufacturing the My Hero dolls. And so they're in there, and so there's tons of Chucky dolls. So great opportunity for a lot of like jumps because you don't know which one is which, and you see them being manufactured. You're seeing all sorts of stuff like that.
But first, they're kind of trying to find their way through like a maze of already put together boxes of Chucky dolls, which in a way reminds me of The Shining. In a way, how they're trying to they're like, damn it, and then they, have to maneuver their way. This whole thing is like Chucky in a funhouse thing, and it's so great and so well done. And kudos for them for thinking about this. But this is the way that you should kill off a villain. Because the way that they do that, which they do like 3 times, and they eventually just blow him up, which is absolutely fucking wonderful. But when he finally reaches, what's his face? Andy. And he's like trying to, switch souls to get him, out. And he realizes it's too late, and he goes fucking nuts. And he just is like, ah.
Well, it
and it's like
changes
the
the
first time
game.
you really feel the real rage
Yes.
of the character. And I'm like, fuck.
Well, but it changes the tone because
Yes.
because up to that point, Andy,
Now we're flat out.
Andy is safe no matter what. The child is safe because
he needs the child.
them.
Yeah.
But once he realizes, like, and that's so great too when the drips of blood come down and Andy just opens his eyes and looks around like, what happened? And you realize that it didn't take place. Like, to me,
and the whole sequence is great.
Yes, and everything past that, like, then Chucky gets, he gets stabbed, he gets, bolted to a plate and like
bolted to the plate, put in like the molded thing.
Yeah, you think they show some parts go through this center console.
They set that up so well,
Yes.
though, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Because they have Andy and Kyle go through the whole thing. trying to find a way out.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, they're bumping into things, and it's showing the conveyor belts.
Right.
It's showing, and you're like, this is how
You see
it's gonna
drips
happen.
of the acid. You see
You
drips
know,
of...
like, this is gonna come back.
Yep.
But it's gonna be great. And the acid, he bumps in, and she catches him before the acid hits him.
Yeah.
Pushes him out of the way, and you're like, this is gonna be great. How they're gonna get him is gonna be great, because it's just you see all of it.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, it's a major payoff.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth it. And it's seriously a fun house of, like, going up and down this factory. There's the one last kill with the guy with the eyeballs, which is great.
Yes.
And then he swings and almost and knocks out Kyle too.
Yes.
Which is so great. Like, everything is timed so wonderfully.
Agreed.
And so, like, to where the point where it's in the vein of, like, Jurassic Park, in a way, in the way that it's, like, fast, and it's like, they're gonna go through that. Oh no, it's almost gonna be too late. She's not gonna hit the door correctly. She's not gonna make it, right? Like, it's on that vein. And I'm not saying it's not Spielberg-esque, but it's like, it's so tense and so wonderful to watch that I enjoyed it wonderfully.
It's well choreographed.
Yes, it's so well done.
And you know what? I think one of the other things that's really fun, like,
To where Lucas tried to do it later on in the stupid fucking prequels of Star Wars and shit like that. Where I'm like,
but
whatever.
where it was way too busy.
Yeah, in a way, like, it's like Terminator as well.
Yeah.
Or, like, there's some Westworld in there,
I think the thing that's great with this too is that at some point they start playing with the idea that, you always see, like, whenever your villain, Jason, Freddy, whoever, does these, like, creative kills or whatever, it's interesting. Like, when Jason puts somebody in a sleeping bag and then beats them against a tree, or, whatever it is, Freddy pulls somebody through a bed. That all is... It's interesting because you can do whatever you want to the victims, but I think this one more so than the others. Like, people hit Jason, people trip them, people do whatever, and, like, they get back up. You can do a bunch of things to them, but they always do I sit up and I come back. Like,
yeah, they do
it's
that
limited.
a little bit here.
You don't do very many creative things like
right. That's
to take
true.
them down, unless you're, like, towards the very end of it. Like, at the end of the movie, and then you do, like, one big thing.
Yeah, do you feel like it's because it's a doll, and so they can just torture a doll?
It's because you can do whatever to the doll, and you can make it look as screwed up and whatever. Like, perfect example. So, like, in that whole choreographed chase bit, he's, like, where... they are climbing up through a chute of rollers.
Mm-hmm. Great scene.
And Andy slips and he's sliding down. And, like Jaws, Chucky pops up at the end of the rollers and, like, stabs the knife into,
And
misses
even
him.
though you know it's going to happen.
Yes.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's still kind of just so great.
Well, and the
so
fact
freaky.
that he's, like, chasing him up with the knife.
Yeah, is junk.
Yeah.
Junk.
And it's fast, but it's, like... It's also smaller movements, and so, like, it's, the kid can get away from whatever. I'm used to, like, you think about, like your, Mike Myers, your Freddy's, whatever, when they do, like, one big stab, or one where, like, it's over really quick. And this one, it's like, he's chasing him. It's got that suspense to it. And when they trap him... I love they bring a cage down on his arm that's holding the knife, so the knife falls off. You see him, like, pull on his hand and rip his own hand off, and it's like rubber, so, big deal, but it's also bleeding because it's kind of blended with the biological piece. And so then he takes the knife and puts it in his hand, on the end of his hand, so he's got, like, a knife hand. And I think that's so cool. But then you can also do things like
Yeah, you're right, because there's not that aspect of like the villain accidentally something happened to him.
Yeah.
And then the villain has to be creative enough to do that, like Chucky did, where he's like you're right. I like that.
If
too.
Jason loses his legs,
Right.
his legs are gone
His
for
legs
the rest
are
of
gone.
the movie. Yeah.
Right.
But with Chucky, like, he gets stapled to a board. You think he gets, like, melted with the other things or burned with a bunch of parts, which I think is cool. It's creepy looking. But he ripped his own legs off and, like, crawled away.
He crawled away.
But you can do that because you also know, outside of everything else,
Right.
he's going to get his body back the next time, like in another doll.
And for me, I think this is aesthetically is the best that Chucky looks. Like, I think I really like the animatronics of Chucky in this movie. I really think they do a better job than the first movie. And I just think that, like, it just becomes to where, again, it becomes a caricature.
Yeah.
And not necessarily, not like anything, not that that's a bad thing, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
I just feel like this is, if you're going to say to someone, iconically, what does Chucky look like?
Yeah.
It's this movie.
Yeah.
Like, through and through.
Yeah.
This is what Chucky is.
Although I find that a lot more depictions of him now are more from, like, the next however many movies where, like, within a couple movies from now where he gets, like, the stitched together rubber and the whatever, like...
Yeah, because people like that.
Yeah.
Because it's a creepy look.
Yes.
To it.
Yeah. And
But I almost think this is more that realistic look through.
Yes. I like him looking just like any of the dolls because he can blend in with the dolls and you get that creepy factor with it. I think where this does run into trouble for me, by not in this movie, but I think of it from a whole standpoint. Like, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself.
Right. No, it's fine.
I think of it from like a whole standpoint where, Michael Myers comes back. Michael Myers always looks like Michael Myers, and Freddy's always looks like Freddy, right? Like they look consistent. One thing that happens with Jason though is Jason changes. Every time, and which is like a plus and minus to me because it's you have this very clean look for him like early on, and then as it goes on, then he looks more rotten. Then he looks this, and then they're like, well, it's too rotten. Time to make him spacey, and then you they like up him again, and I almost think that it goes through that in here where it's like, well, how do we differentiate between each one, and how do we keep upping the creep factor? Well, you add the stitches in, then you add this, and you add that. Like, they just make him look in that one. Then you add a second doll, and then like, it's like they evolve it almost to the point where, to your point, like, this, I think, is like, to me, is more creepy than the Stitch stuff because he could be any one of like 1,000 dolls. And then there's creepiness because you never know where he is. But the other ones are a little bit more obvious.
I think what lacks for me for this movie is the aspect of, like the consumer theme kind of being the really big evil. As much as like you get that in the factory scene, I wanted more of like the head guy, CEO.
Yeah.
To kind of get the up and comings, and kind of have kind of like more of that being in there, kind of in a way where he kind of hates that. But I get that that's not really what this movie is.
Yeah.
It's more rooted in Andy. What I do like is bringing in Kyle into the mix and realizing that this movie is based on, or kind of has, that through story of just being kind of a child of no one.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Through the characters of Andy and now Kyle, where, Andy kind of doesn't have his mom anymore, and Kyle doesn't. And just kind of like that, where in a way, Chucky in the end kind of has more of a family than say Andy or even Kyle, but they have each other. I get that, but like, do you know what I mean? Because you get the bride of Chucky and like all this family. It almost becomes this weird second, like, family for not Andy, but like Chucky in itself, where he has more of like things that someone normal should have, and Andy doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think that then, and not knowing the other movies, like the later movies, and even the TV show that they're having this year, hopefully they bring more of that into it, which I don't think, like, why wouldn't they? Do you know what I mean?
It's based on it is based on, it's a continuation of the original series.
Right.
Because I think they were like, oh boy, like after the after the reboot
Yeah.
one.
Is Don Mancini, like, is he doing that then? Or I think he would be. Yeah, so he created the Chucky TV series.
Yes.
Yes.
Or is it just based off his characters?
It says, I'll click on it here.
Yeah, he's the showrunner.
He's
Yeah,
the
you're
showrunner,
right.
so yeah. Yep.
Cool.
So, yeah, might as well go for it.
And I think one thing too, like I appreciate that this show, like, that this franchise started building its mythology so early. You get Andy back multiple times. You get Kyle starting to get introduced. Like, I appreciate that because I think that's part of, like, I think differentiates it between, like, this and just, like, generic kind of horror stuff that's just throwaway, is that you get the mythos that gets built with it.
Sure. It says premieres October 12th on USA Sci-Fi.
There you go.
So there.
Yeah. But, like, it took, to me, it seems like it took a while till to get that built up in Friday the 13th. Outside of Jason and Pamela Voorhees.
Yes, outside of that.
It took it till probably the final chapter, I think, when like Tommy Jarvis shows up, played by Corey Feldman.
That makes sense because then you get this tonal shift of, and then through the eyes of Tommy.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Which almost becomes, in a way, compared with Andy and Chucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that they named Andy from Toy Story after?
I was. I like to think that, but who knows?
Yeah.
I like to, playing with dolls. Might as well. Sure.
Yeah. They come to life.
Yeah, they come to life.
Yeah.
Why not?
There you go.
Yeah. Yes.
We should recut Toy Story.
That. Hey, Pixar, is that true? We'll ask, I guess. Twitter. Okay. Should we do our 5 questions?
Yes, we definitely should do our 5 questions. There it is. So, what do you think is the best part of this series, or best part of this movie?
There's a lot that I'm actually really enjoyed about this movie, but the last 20 minutes of this movie, I think are some of the best scenes of horror movies in general. I think that's just me, but the last 20 minutes of this movie,
Yeah.
and I think the addition of Kyle into it is pretty well, but the last 20 minutes of the movie, I think the final kill of that one guy, the final kill of Chucky is a fucking amazing. That's the way to kill a villain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that. So I'm happy with everything. Once they enter the factory, not that the movie was bad, but once they enter the factory to the end of the movie,
Yeah.
best part.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
I think the best part of the movie for me, and it's a product of the time, obviously, but like, to me, the practical effects in this are really great. And obviously, like, look, it's an animatronic mask or puppet, we could do things CG and make it look a lot cleaner these days, but there's something that's different. Like, all I'm saying is, like, look at the new the Chucky and the new Child's Play reboot, and then look at the original one.
Agreed.
And I think the original one looks scarier to me. And I think it's because you can see the actual movements and, like, There's twitching and whatever with it that you don't get with the other ones so much. The other one is much cleaner looking, except for his mullet, but like, it just, to me, it doesn't resonate the same. This is the one that, like, I'm just like, oh god, it's because he looks fake. I think that's why, like, in this, he has to look fake for that to look good, because you have to believe he's not real.
Right. Correct. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but I think the practical effects are amazing. And especially once you get to the toy factory. And I will tell you what my absolute favorite of all the parts are. So they've gone through the thing. He's already gotten a knife hand. He's come after Andy. He got, melted to like legs and whatever else and ripped his own legs off and he's crawling after Andy.
This is great.
And he gets real close to him. And you see like the hot, like the hot melty plastic drip down and like steam. And he goes, and Chucky looks up like, oh no. Like even he is like, oh crap. And then Andy just pulls this lever and like molten rubber is spraying out all over Chucky. And he just looks like he's melted. And they come back later and they're like, oh my god, okay, yeah. Like he's just in this melted pile of goo. And it's gross looking. Like, it looks like you can see the veins in there and you can see whatever. It reminds me of, like, the Blob or something of that. And then he jumps up and is, like, trying to attack her. So he's covered in, like, gooey rubber. And his face is melted. Like, part of his mouth is melted together. And his eyes kind of has tissue between it. And, like, I mean, it's to me, I was just like, oh, that's so great. Like, when he's doing that. And that's when she jams like the air hose in his mouth, and his head expands and finally blows up.
So great! Oh my god!
But like to me, especially the stuff with like the melty rubber and him being coated in that goo and like being like half melted when he's coming after her, is like, to me, I love that scene. I could watch that part over and over because it's so visually it's cool looking. And I'll say that's something else too with all the other horror guys. To me, there's less savagery. It's more about like strength and power. Like you can run, but they're just going to knock you down and just stab you with one blow, right? Chucky is very much like a rabid animal coming after you. He's screaming. He's, telling you to go fuck yourself and like stabbing at you repeatedly with a knife. Like quick, sharp stabs. Like to me, he's much more savage in that way, much more like aggressive in that way, and I love it.
Yeah, me too.
And especially when he keeps coming back with that, I think that's great. And to me, it doesn't work without the practical effect in that case. So that's my answer.
Okay. So it wasn't the lady that played Sarah Palmer.
No.
Okay, just checking.
No, it was not the guy from the Phantom of the Paradise. Do you think this
wasn't
movie
the guy from Carolyn in the City? I don't know if he was in that, but he was like in some 90s sitcom anyway. Go ahead.
Do you think this movie stands on its own?
In a way it does. It's weird that I feel like that, but basically because it just picks up and doesn't let go, right? But there are moments where you're like, well, why is this doll coming to life? Why are we... Who's Andy?
Yeah.
Why do we have those questions if we haven't watched the first one? So yes and no, but like in a way, you can watch this movie and not really. Yeah. But it benefits to have watched the first one. Yeah. Well, back to back, watching first one and the second one right after another. You should do that. But if you don't, no big deal. I think you're fine. I really do.
Honestly, I don't think it does.
Really?
And I think
you don't think it stands on its own?
No.
I mean, it doesn't, but like,
I think you can enjoy it either way. Like,
yeah,
for what
that's
it
I
is.
mean.
Obviously, you can. I mean, this one you could totally enjoy, but I think because there's exposition at the beginning that tells you what's going on. But I think like it could have stood on its own had you changed a simple thing. If they would have like found the doll and put it back into circulation or put it back wherever, and it goes to like a new kid in a foster family. Like, if you took Andy out of the equation and changed him to, like, a generic kid who just got this
but I don't
doll
want that.
through something.
You know I don't want that.
No, and I don't either.
Right.
But I think if you changed it to that, then yeah, it would stand on its own.
Also,
because it would almost
that's a
be
bad
like...
movie.
Huh?
That's a terrible movie. I don't want to watch that movie.
Well, right, but then it becomes like the Gun or whatever that TV show was.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying this stands on its own. I'm just saying that there are moments where I'm like, I don't care that it doesn't stand on its own.
Right.
I can watch this.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
boom.
you're right. Like, it doesn't hurt it that it
No,
doesn't.
I don't think it hurts it. Yeah.
I think you can figure it out, and the exposition tells you most of what you need to know. But I think it from the way we look at this, I really don't think it stands on its own.
No.
And it's okay.
No.
It shouldn't, because you already are building that mythology.
No.
There you go. Does this make you want to watch the first one?
In fact, yes, it does. And in fact, yesterday I wanted to watch the first one, but I knew that we were going to do this for the show, so I didn't watch the first one.
Oh, there you go.
Because I didn't want it, because it's been a couple of years, and I didn't want it to taint how I saw this just individually.
Yeah,
wise.
I get that. Yeah.
You know how that happens? So I didn't want to do that, but I really wanted to watch the first one.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I kind of wanted to just objectively watch this and just grade it on its own, which we kind of weren't in a way. We were kind of... You still grade these as part of a franchise.
Yeah.
But I was trying to grade this on its own too. And if I was going to grade this on its own, this is, I think, better than the first one. Mm-hmm. I think that these are the top two. And I think this is actually, as time progresses, this is better than the first one.
I'd agree with you. Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that.
How about you? Does this make you want to watch the first one?
Yeah, it does make me want to watch the first one. It actually makes me want to go through, and as bad as some of them will be, it makes me want to go through the series of them.
Maybe. Yeah.
It also, like, and part of that is because as we were reading up on it, there's some of them I haven't seen, like towards the end, like The Cult of Chucky, which is like a direct-to-video release. It's like the 7th movie. But both Kyle and Andy come back in that one. And it's the same actors, too. And so I'm just like, interesting. You're back in the 7th movie. Like, I like that because I'm interested to see where it's going.
Are they in the... I know Kyle's in the
Kyle's
series.
in the TV show. Yeah.
Andy is too, isn't Andy?
I don't know if Andy... I think he is.
Yeah.
But I know for sure Kyle is.
Okay.
But, like... I'm down with that. Like, you know,
does it make you want to watch the new series that's coming out at all?
Yeah, but it makes
like maybe check it out.
I'd want to watch all the other stuff probably
to
understand what's going on before that.
Sure,
because I'm sure I'd probably miss out on some mythology too. But yeah, it does make me want to watch the first one and the others.
Does it make you want to watch any other Jennifer Tilly movie?
Well, always, of course. Gertrude Tilly's fabulous.
All right, we're gonna watch Bound here. All right, is she in that?
Yeah, she's in that.
Yeah, go ahead.
With Gina Gershon.
Yes, Gina Gershon is in that. Yes.
There you go.
Wachowskis.
Yes.
Yes, I want to say sisters, but they were brothers at the time.
Yeah.
So
that's the Wachowski sisters.
Yeah, so I think just the sisters. Yeah.
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 Or I guess the Wachowskis. Is
the Wachowskis. I guess you.
Yeah.
You could just say that.
Yeah. Would you reboot, continue, or cancel this series?
Well, obviously it's going on, but let's say it didn't. Okay, just for the purposes of this question.
Yes.
Based on this movie, you want to continue. But I don't think you should continue without Kyle and Andy. And when I mean Kyle and Andy, I mean the original actors.
They changed him out in the third movie.
They changed... Well, I don't think Kyle's in even the character Kyle. I don't even think he's in the third one.
In the third Child's Play, it is... Who is it? Justin Whalen. Mm-hmm. But they show Alex Vincent like in a flashback. Then he isn't into movies.
Right.
He doesn't show back up until Curse of Chucky. And then he's in there for Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky.
Okay.
And then he's in the TV series.
So obviously, yes, based on this movie, I want them to continue. And they did. but how they did it maybe wasn't the greatest execution.
So Kyle doesn't show back up until Curse of Chucky.
Curse of Chucky.
So like most of the people do not repeat until later. But then they start adding them out more with like Jennifer Tilly.
I mean, whatever. She was too busy playing Rhonda on Head of the Class. Big deal. Get it. Get it, Arvid.
In Bride of Chucky, Katherine Heigl, John Ritter.
Katherine Heigl was in that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Katherine Heigl. They're the characters that are... Oh, yeah. I remember watching that. That's a terrible... Oh, yeah. Katherine Heigl's in that.
Yeah.
And those characters are awful. The B story? Fuck the B story.
But yes, so there you go. By the way, eventually, I'm trying to remember, in the Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, Fiona Dourif shows up, which is Brad Dourif's, I think, daughter? Is his daughter or his niece? They're related. Yeah. She was the holistic assassin in the holistic detective Dirk Gently, the crazy gal in that one. Mm-hmm. So you can see where she's related to Brad Dourif. Also, the Chucky's voiced by Mark Hamill.
In what?
The reboot.
Oh, really?
Which I'm
That's
oddly
interesting.
not all about that. Like, I love Mark Hamill's voice in pretty much everything, but that's
sort of
I'm
weird.
just like,
but I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Although watching that preview, that was a really interesting cast. So I was like, maybe.
Man, Curse of Chucky gets Catherine Hicks back. You get Chris Sarandon back.
Do you really?
Yeah. And his character,
I'm a
Chris
sucker for
Sarandon's
some
character
Chris
is played by
Sarandon.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Okay. Yes. That's well. As much as I love that actor, why? Okay. Sure.
Interesting. Okay. Anywho, but so as I think, as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm about continuing. And I like that they're just like, let's change the medium up, go with TV show. You know, like, it's kind of, there's a few things that have done that, like Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah, might as well.
I think it'll be better. Like, I think we're in a better place to do that now than when they were like Friday the 13th, the series, or like those kind of things.
Right.
But I would continue the continuing and cancel the reboot. If that makes sense. Okay. Okay, finally, sum up your experience in 2 words.
Oh my God, you first. I'm having a hard time with this.
Child's Play.
I put Toy Explosion. I don't know why.
Story?
Because or Toy Story or
Toy Gory.
Toy Gory too. Yeah. I like it. I like this movie. I think this is a movie that I'm gonna come back to. You know me. It takes me a couple years to, if I gotta really, really like a movie to do it over and over again. But this is a movie that I would watch front to back with the first one first and the second one second. So yeah, no, I would. If we're to ever gonna go down the whole Chucky Child's Play thing, I think we would need to start with 1 and go from there. And I think we should get the Child's Play candy. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Child's Play candy that has like the dots and the Tootsie Rolls and the suckers. That's the Child's Play candy. Do you not know this?
What?
Child's Play candy that you get at Halloween. Do you not know Child's Play candy?
No.
Yeah, there's a Child's Play. It's like an assortment of candy.
Oh.
Do you not know this? Please.
I don't know. I think I just usually shove it down my gullet. I don't like look at what they're called.
No, it's like the Child's Play candy mix.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you're right. Tootsie Rolls, Child's Play favorites, Fantastic Candy Variety Mix Bag. Well, I'll be dipped.
Do you not know this? Yeah. So they put all the
I don't know
all the Tootsie Pop things are Child's
dots
Play.
And those like multicolored
Right.
Tootsie
I
Rolls.
love dots and like all the multicolored like yellow Tootsie Rolls and blue Tootsie Rolls and green ones, and they're peanut free, gluten free.
Good.
Just saying that. So if you want to give your kids at Halloween Child's Play candy mix, go ahead and give that.
A 5-pound bag is $26 at
I don't know,
Walmart.
what are juniors? Is that just the small Tootsie Rolls?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they have
probably.
the larger Tootsie Rolls.
Junior mints, senior mints,
No, sophomore mints.
sophomore mints.
There's class in my sophomore mints. So you've been induced on this, and you've also learned that Child's Play has a variety pack of candy.
There you go.
It's not sponsored by Child's Play. Like, it doesn't have like a picture of Chucky on it.
Ooh, but maybe it
Although,
should.
like, get on that Tootsie.
What if
Let me see that Tootsie Roll.
What if in one of the movies they beat him with something, or they hit him in the head so hard that his head blows up, and Child's Play candy mix falls out of it?
Like, it's the
They're
whole
like-
time.
And it's just a commercial for Child's Play candy mix.
I love it.
Dots and Tootsie Pops
Dots
and
and Tootsie Pops.
Tootsie Rolls.
I love those flavored, like the fruit flavored ones.
Yeah, but those are...
What?
Sometimes you get those, and I'd be like, oh, awesome, because I love the vanilla ones, or the
vanilla
cherry,
ones.
or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, yeah, it's like the blue, it's the limey one,
Oh,
or
it's
the
the lime
orange
one's
one.
gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
All right.
Oh no! So they have the long Tootsie Pops,
Yeah, they
the
do.
short Tootsie Pops. No, I'm just going to talk about this for a
No,
little
okay,
bit.
so
And then they have the Tootsie Pop thing, not the Tootsie Pops, but the Tootsie Roll
They
like
have-
bar things.
yeah, they have the long rolls, and they have the little bars.
They have the little bars.
Yeah, those I think are juniors.
Oh, is that what juniors?
I think
are?
so.
So
And
what
the
are
other ones-
seniors? Are those the longer ones?
The seniors?
Yeah.
There's no senior.
Well, you said juniors. I just thought they were
Well,
seniors.
that's the Tootsie Rolls longer one.
What are the sophomore mints?
juniors
There's
are
no
the
sophomore
short
mints in
ones
there.
and the-
I want some sophomore mints.
You want some sophomore mints?
Yeah.
Senior mints?
Some bottle caps. Now we're just talking about candy. Hey, where can people find us, Jeremy?
People can find us at the bottom of a bag of Child's Play fantastic Tootsie Roll favorites. Also at the deucepodcast.podbean.com, Google Play, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, many of those podcatchers.
That's true.
You can also find us through the nophonynetwork.com. So that's our podcasting network. Definitely check that out. And you can find, many of our podcast mates through there as well.
Sure, do that. Hey, buy one, get one 40% off on Child's Play Variety Pack, 32 ounce at Walgreens. Not a sponsor of the Deuce Podcast.
There you go.
So we'll be back next week. We might do what? Freddy?
Yeah, you will do
Pinhead.
something along these lines.
I don't know.
Keep it
Well,
consistent.
it's someone iconic.
Yeah.
We'll bring it.
Yeah.
But while we bring it and while we decide, while we eat some Child's Play candy, don't forget that the Deuce and the sequel are king.